Previously, in the Big God story, we were introduced to an amazing group of leaders called the Judges. Men and women that God raised up to be incredible leaders, powerful examples to his people who would draw them back to him when they got distracted and drawn away. All in all, God used 12 different judges during this part of Israel's story. Some of them, like Deborah and Gideon, were powerful leaders that used the responsibility that God gave them very well and were able to lead his people back to him. And for a while things would be good until his people got distracted again, and they would run after the things that they thought were best. They would just get all turned around about what was right and what was wrong, and instead of worrying about what God wanted, they would do what they wanted, do the things that they thought were best. Things got so backwards that even some of the judges stopped being a good example. Judges like the mighty Samson, even though they had incredible gifts and God's direction in their life, did way more harm than good and set a terrible example for God's people and did not lead them back to him. And after a long enough time of God's people doing what they thought was best instead of what God wanted, their hearts went from being in a very good place to actually becoming quite rotten. And things in their home became absolutely awful. It wasn't a peaceful place. It wasn't a happy place or a restful place. It was downright awful. And God's faithfulness was tested. When other people would leave, God stayed. When other people would forget their promises, God leaned in and sent one last judge. This judge would be different from the rest and had a very specific job to do because God is faithful.